Welcome everybody to the second town hall. My name is Shorupan. I am your gracious, humbled host who will be conducting this webinar, this Zoom. By popular demand, I wanted to host this one because I think it is covering a topic that many people don't have the clearest understanding of, and that's not to their chagrin or to their fault. I think it's because the topic of how tokens operate, how tokens price themselves, how tokens develop in a primary and secondary market is something that is very not understood for most coins, let alone our own coins. So I wanted to really dig deep into it. I'm not the type for a shallow conversation per se. I very much dislike conversation where we're not addressing the principles of the matter that make up a specific topic. And so I felt like the only way that we can really cover that for this token, because of the magnitude of the project, is on a long form Zoom. So this is going to be long. It's going to be technical. It's going to have nuances to it. It's going to cover the full gambit of possibilities for the GX token in the present and in the future. I'm going to open up this to as many people who want to ask questions, who have panel. I mean, I'm going to let everyone talk if they need to. We're going to screen share. We're going to go over everything. So it's going to be a really fun show. Kind of the MO. I mean, there's nothing like formal. There's no like formal presentation I have. This is kind of off the entire work that the fabulous team has been doing for months now, and we are excited to share it. I mean, many people have asked us questions about it, and this Zoom was inspired by people asking questions that were not answered. But I was looking for a reason to kind of talk about this, to go into the significance of what we're doing from a token perspective and how revolutionary it actually is. So it's something that it oozes from every fiber of everyone at Invest and Global Exchange. And for just background housekeeping knowledge, I am sitting in the Invest campus here in Bangalore, India. My fabulous team is beside or in front of me, and a couple of our developers are back there. This is the night shift. Here it's 4:30 in the morning, IST. If you're joining from Eastern Standard Time, like the majority of you probably are, it's what, 6 p.m. there. If you're joining from Europe, it's a bit later. And if you're joining from Asia, like myself, it's in the wee hours of the morning. So we're excited. Yeah, I think this is an amazing call and probably one of the most important calls that we're going to have leading into 2020. So if you guys have questions just that are clear cut off the top, hey, get this answered, Sharpan, just shoot it off in the chat. I will make sure to incorporate it in my rant. If you don't have questions, you're kind of waiting to see how this is going to unravel so that you can get a clearer picture of what's going on. Grab the popcorn, be my guest to wait it out. Again, it's not going to take me too long to explain the fundamentals of the token, because that's really simple. What might take some time is actually to go over strategy, to go over how we're leveraging this incredible token economics model that we built here at Global Exchange to benefit the brokers, the users, and the community at large. And I will take fault for a couple of things. The one thing that we have not done is explain everything clearly to everybody. And the reason for that is because we put out a lot of content on YouTube, and we expect people to go through it and dive deep and do their own research. But of course, that cannot be expected, especially of basic users and people that just want kind of the nuggets of what's going on. And we're not the foremost experts at just bite-sized communication. We're kind of much more hands-on when it comes to this stuff. And so I do take some of the blame for why there's confusion. But I hope that this call and this call chopped up, going on YouTube, going on Facebook, going on different platforms, will solve all of that pretty quickly. So let's begin. I'm going to screen share the entire time, so please make sure that my screen is visible, that you can see it, because it's going to be imperative to understanding everything that we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to actually do some time stamping here because I'm really interested in seeing how you guys see the evolution of what we've done. It is really remarkable when you look at it from that perspective. So I'm just loading up some of my browsers here before we get in full rollout mode. I'm going to turn on my screen share right now. All right, you guys should be able to see my screen. Currently, it's on CoinMarketCap, and we'll go from there. Give me 1 second, just loading up my final screens here. Great. So let's go into the advanced mode here. Okay, great. So I did a whole YouTube kind of series or sequence of videos. Just because some people may have challenges realizing their documents. Will you be able to add tutorials in the future? Yes, Neville. Although that's, sorry, I'm just addressing a question that was asked in the Q&A for all the people watching. One of the questions was actually around the process of how to, some people having confusions around how to upload their documents for transfers into funding their account. Actually, Neville, there's a video right here that says fund your vault with USD, and when you click it, I give a screen share tutorial on how to upload your documents and everything that you're talking about. Funny enough, I'm wearing the same exact outfit, which kind of shows you the variance in my wardrobe. That's so funny. I didn't know that in that video. That's there, and we'll be adding, just like we did for how to sign up. We're doing Medium articles right now on every single procedure, including every single methodology for funding your account with dollars. So we'll do that on Medium with screenshots. And then we already have the YouTube video training, tutorial video right here. It's on YouTube. It's also right here, just to answer your question. And then another question off the cuff is, thank you for offering us with this opportunity in the OTC desk. If we leave the current broker fee at 1%, does that 1% go to us or GX? Please go and watch our compensation structure playlist because the question that you're asking is one that's a little bit more complicated than just a simple answer. But if you go to YouTube and you go to understanding the GX broker comp plan, which I'll just share with you right now in this chat, there's a whole playlist I put together to explain all of it. You're going to be very keen on watching I believe the third video, which is video 3 out of 5. Video number 4, which is how to get paid on OTC transactions. So I posted the link to the playlist. I'm also posting a link to the specific video, which goes into how the commissions are calculated for OTC transactions. Long story short, on direct, there's a way to get paid on directs and indirects. 100% of all fees collected go to the brokers on the OTC trades, but the direct, so let's say you set 1%, you're keeping 70% of that direct. The 30% goes to the broker chain that's shared by all the other brokers, just for a long story short. Slow to respond, trying to set up. Yes, Frank, or sorry, Fran, right, literally, I just came out back into the office and I found out that gxcheckout.com is having some issues. We are troubleshooting that right now to get that right back up for you. I think it's been down for about 20 minutes now, which is unacceptable, and we apologize for that inconvenience. We're gonna get that back up immediately. And so, yeah, that is to answer that question. So now that those 3 questions are out of the way, I see them in Q&A. I also see the questions in the webinar chat. So let's rock and roll into the actual crux of today's call, which is tokens. How does the GX token work, and how does it achieve its price? What's the point of it? What's the promise of it? What's the opportunity? What's the downside? How does it work? How is it regulated from an economics perspective? How is it constructed from an engineering perspective? And how does the game theory leverage brokers and customers alike? So I actually made my first video, since you can see my screen, about the GX token as it pertains to like people using it and gaining traction off it all the way back in, I mean, these are just logistical videos, like where to find your GX token. It was like 8 months ago when people were first like even thinking about global exchange. But I think reasonably speaking, I made the first video, which is like 4 months ago. Watch this before buying GX tokens. That's actually a great video, even though it's 4 months removed and so many things have happened in the last 4 months. This video is astonishingly accurate and concise as it pertains. I just dropped it in the chat as it pertains to how the token works from a simple perspective. Of course, after that, we've how to sell your GX tokens, how to get roll out GX phase three pricing for your GX tokens. We've posted every video for every meaningful update from the token. It's all obviously timestamped. YouTube does that. When we got it listed on our first exchange, when we got listed on our second exchange, when it started internal trading, everything is on YouTube. And I think the most important videos on YouTube are actually a little bit more recent, where I do a deep dive into how primary and secondary markets interact with each other. This one right here, GX Token Economics Series, Video 1, GX Token Economics Series, Video 2, GX Token Economics Series, Video 3. And I purposely leave out GX Token Economics Series, Video 4, which I think is going to be culminated on this call. But if you watch these 3 videos, it's they're collectively about 15 minutes, and I talk more about the construction of primary and secondary markets, how cryptocurrencies are even priced, how exchanges derive price, how traders come to price realization, and how a company that does a token offering is able to participate within these secondary primary price operations. If you haven't watched these videos, please watch them after this call. You may not need to, because I might just cover everything, but they're so fundamental to not just the GX token, but any token. I am astonished every day at how many people don't understand basic market principles when it pertains to exchanges and how they are a player in driving liquidity and market making for assets, whether they're equities or bonds or obviously cryptocurrencies or tradable debentures. I mean, whatever it is, the amount of understanding that people have is so limited, and they're so constrained by that understanding that I wanted to make these videos to kind of put it out there, because it's so important to understand this, guys, in crypto. So please watch that. And then, I think that's one of the elements that we are proud of, that we put out those videos to kind of explain fundamentals of how these markets form. So just want to show you guys that all these videos are on YouTube. They've all been posted on Facebook, but of course, this call is to kind of culminate everything. So let's actually get started here with how the GX token came about, or what was the rationale behind it. Because without understanding why, without understanding our thought process, then it's going to be very difficult for you to kind of just jump in and get the mechanics of it all. 1 second, I'm just seeing if I could pull up this one more document. Token governance. There we go. Beautiful. I am able to do it. Great stuff. Great stuff. So how do I drag this back into here? Beautiful. It works just as I said. Perfect. This is a document we're going to release today. It's called the GX Token Governance Policy. And the GX Token Governance Policy is a breakdown of exactly what this token sale entails for people that are buying it, people that have already bought it, the company, what's the allocation of funds, what it will be used for, how the smart contract architecture is built that provides a level of security and fiduciary alignment with us and our token holders. It's a very concise document that was prepared by the engineering team that led this effort, and how the smart contracts actually interact. So this document will come out, just giving you guys some teaser on that. But let's go back into what I was saying, which is how did this token get here? How did we arrive at this point? In order to understand that, we have to take a look at a couple months ago, a Yeah, thanks so much for watching those videos, because that does really give you a lot of context. So let's talk about how the token got here. Approximately 6 months ago, maybe even a little bit more than that, I would say, as we are creeping into May of 2019, I was with our team in Toronto. Primarily, it was me and Warren with some of our early advisors, some of our early executive team. And what I was in the process of doing was rolling out global exchange as a concept. And we, from day one, and I mean day one, knew that we were going to build a fabulous two-sided network. The one that you're seeing, it's kind of surreal to see this every time I log into this. I know that for other people, they see an incomplete product, a product that has so much more room to grow, which is completely accurate. That is what they should see. But when I see this, it's just it's a full sign of how much the vision that we outlined those early days, April, May, June, came to fruition, how quickly it did, because we knew we were going to build this two-sided network that allowed platforms, whether it's a trading platform, whether it's an algorithmic trading platform, whether it's a betting platform, whether it's a money market, to come, whether it's an OTC liquidity provider, to come to the table and be able to attract and engage with customers in the crypto space in a unified OS, very similar to, we were influenced a lot by how Google launched the Google Play Store, which is a multi-system operating system, apps, movies, music, books, devices, and where app developers and movie creators, content creators deploy apps, and us as Android users use them. I mean, you can make the same argument for the App Store, the iOS as well, but I just think that Google Play Store was a huge inspiration to us. And so, we knew we were going to do that. And obviously we had a timeline. What we were not clear of until, I would imagine, almost April, and then by the end of April, May, we were crystal clear on it, was how we were going to distribute this incredible software, how we were going to distribute the ability for users to get engaged with this technology. And we were really torn. Me and Warren, we were always considering, hey, should we go direct to consumer? Because we had gone direct to consumer with investbank.com and different apps before that were successful. But something was itching at me, especially when I was in Toronto, where I said, what, this is bigger than that. This has the opportunity, because of the robust and interoperable nature of global exchange, or GX. We didn't know it was going to be called GX Nitrous at the time, just the global exchange operating system. That we wanted to make this mass distributed by the majority, the most amount of people possible. In other words, the most amount of people using it distributed by the most amount of people possible. And that's when this concept of this broker, this intermediary, this traffic driver, whatever you want to look at him as, started to germinate in my head. I really couldn't get it out of my head. And I had done a lot of work in traditional financial markets, albeit insurance, foreign exchange, futures, you name it. I've worked in some element, and I've watched brokerages grow. I've been a part of some amazing brokerages that have been able to scale, and it astonishes me every time a brokerage in one of these traditional financial assets scales, because it's like, wow, this saturated product, whether it's insurance or mutual funds or retirement investments, is still able to garner so much traction simply by this idea of a human taking this abstract financial product to that customer. And so obviously you guys know where that went. We launched the GX Broker platform, which is an ability for a user to become a broker and get compensated on all the transactional revenue that he is driving by getting this new customer on board. Do we have all the numbers, and did comp plan, and do we have everything figured out? Absolutely not. We had none of that figured out. All we knew was this was an idea that allowed anybody the power that the largest exchanges in cryptocurrency had. And that was an idea that could not be overlooked. Just give me 1 second as I fix my mic here. Apologize for that, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Just making sure that the volume is working there properly. So coming back to it, we knew that the idea of becoming a broker was too important, too game changing for us to disregard it or for us to really wait. And so we went ahead and launched it. Just like any good company, we launched it before we were ready to launch it. Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, has one of my favorite quotes, which goes like, if you're not disappointed in the first version of your product, you've waited too long to launch it. And boy, were we disappointed in our first version of our product because it had so many issues. But again, this is where you saw the rubber met the road, because the idea was so prolific. The movement became prolific. People wanted it. People were yearning for the fact that, hey, I'm bringing volume to the biggest exchanges in the world and getting nothing to show for it. I'm driving traction, not just to Bitcoin, but to all the cryptocurrencies through my influence. I have nothing to show for it. And so the concept that I can become a broker, GX broker, and get paid on every transaction for the lifetime of my customers, too good to give up. So we drove that forward, guys. And at the beginning, I mean, it's crazy. If you watch some of my early webinars, it says that it didn't even have the token economics figured out. It knew that the GX brokers were going to be the ones that held the coins to benefit their business. But how literally wasn't figured out until about June. And there we were clear at this point, okay, wow, this is crazy. This is how it's going to work. We knew that there was a demand for GX brokerage product because so many people had signed up even before it was released. And we knew the GX Nitrous, which wasn't even called that at the time, was going to be a hit because it was this unified platform amongst users. We knew that they could all meet in the same place with the exchanges, with the market makers, with the platform developers. But now the token, the native token, how did it develop value? It became crystal clear. Now, guys, if you have invested in ICOs before, STOs, whatever type of O's you've invested in, if you're an equities market investor, you know that lots of companies are able to float tokens. Sorry, Ben is asking where do I post it? Sorry for being so. No worries, Ben. If you scroll up in the Zoom chat, I've already posted the links to those comp videos. Lots of companies issue offerings, whether they're full securities on stock exchanges or in the last couple of years, token offerings. And sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't do well in terms of a price inflation, but there's no logic to their coin. There's no way that the average person that's buying into that coin can explain to me why the price of that coin will go up or down. And for that, we don't have to look too deep into the slums of crypto. We can actually just check CoinMarketCap. And this is really important. Sorry, I don't know what that last question means, but maybe we can specify that. Are we going under ... So here, if you're talking about the cryptocurrency prices, yeah, it looks like they've taken a dip today. But here, you can really look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Tether, Bitcoin Cash. Let's look at the top 5 coins. I don't think many people could explain to me, especially many people who are holding those coins, what the literal economics of those coins are, with the exception of Bitcoin, where it's been crystal clear. And I think even the average Bitcoin user can say, hey, the reason Bitcoin is going to be valuable is because there's only 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be circulated. And out of the 21 million that are ever circulated, 18 million are circulating right now. and that there is a drive, a price demand in, meaning more and more people are going to go into Bitcoin. And since there's a fixed supply of Bitcoin, it functions this form of like, alternative asset, gold, digital gold, whatever you want to call it, thus driving up the price. Now, that still doesn't explain to me why people are going into Bitcoin, but it explains to me that if dollars does go into Bitcoin, increasing the overall market capitalization, because it does have a fixed supply of 21 million that has been made clear since 2008, that is immutable, that is unchangeable, that the price will increase per coin. So, I mean, there's some logic to it, and I think that's why people really gravitate toward Bitcoin, because of its simplicity. However, let's just go to number two. My favorite cryptocurrency in the world outside of GX token is Ethereum, where I've made the most amount of money investing into cryptocurrency is in Ethereum. Ethereum is a Canadian-grown project. I'm close with a lot of the team that developed it, both the core development team and some of the early propagators of it. But I would be hard pressed for anyone to explain to me how Ethereum increases in value. I know because I'm a Ethereum fanatic, but apart from that, it would be very shocking to me that all the people that hold Ethereum in the world can explain it to me. The number one reason I know it'll be difficult for people is because Ethereum does not have a fixed supply. It has a circulating supply. In other words, the Ethereum Foundation and or the other stakeholders who are highly in charge of making those kind of voting protocols, deciding on how the protocol is going to come out, can change the amount that there is. Right now, if you click Ethereum, it'll tell you that there is a circulating supply of 109 million ETH, but that's not the total supply. It's a circulating supply. That number can change if the team wants it to change. And so then even if there are more dollars coming into ETH, meaning it's a more popular cryptocurrency, you don't know that the price will increase, because what if there's an inflation into the market of Ethereum? I mean, it's stated in the token issuance of Ethereum in the white paper that will be the case, and that the Ethereum Foundation and the Ethereum protocol is built to mitigate extreme price inflation so that people can actually use the Ethereum virtual machine to build smart contracts. In other words, it's built in a way to make sure that the inflation will adjust the usage of the platform. So many people are using Ethereum. It's a public utility. So many people are using it to build smart contracts, to run these D applications. And so obviously the founders don't want to make it exorbitantly expensive so that no one uses their token, because the Ethereum is the mechanism by which people pay gas fees. So just on that front, you already know that Ethereum is not as clear as it comes across, and yet people are driving into it. Ripple, I mean, Ripple is insane. It's like, obviously the demand for Ripple comes from the amount of institutions, financial institutions that want to use it. The supply for Ripple is almost 100 billion today. And there's no concrete structure as to how Ripple is driving demand. Of course, we know how it drives demand, but the mechanism by which it can succeed or fail is not clear. And Tether is obviously warped in controversy, and you can keep going down this list and seeing how these token economic models differ, how the founding teams have changed their strategy, their policy, their contracts in order to make sure that their mission is accomplished. The coin that I was most interested in when we were putting Global Exchange together was obviously Binance Coin, because Binance was the largest exchange and still to this day probably is the largest exchange over a monthly trading volumes time. And Binance Coin was the best performing coin, best performing native coin. And Binance Coin today is what, number 11 or something insane like that if you look at it. Binance Coin is number 8 cryptocurrency on planet Earth, $2 billion market capitalization, $189 million in 24-hour trading volume. I mean, this is a colossal coin. And what does it do? I love it because it's simple. I love it because it's simple. All Binance Coin does is it cuts your fees when you're trading on Binance. It allows you, if the standard fee when you're trading on Binance is, let's say, 2 basis points, it will reduce that to maybe a basis point. I'm not giving you exact numbers here because it changes coin to coin, but look at it long term. If I'm holding BNB, in my Binance wallet, and I am then trading on Binance Exchange, the Binance algorithm looks to see that, hey, sharpan@gmail.com is in fact holding BNB, and let's reduce his overall trading fee as a percentage, and let's debit his BNB account so that the fees are not taken out of the asset pair, and also I'm not charged full fees for the asset that I am now trading. That simple token economics value took this coin to number 8 on planet Earth. And I'll tell you why. Because it's predictable. If you can calculate, hey, there's 100 and see, again, it's not a circulating, I mean, there's a circulating supply of 155 million, but there's a fixed total supply of 187 billion. Now, if you read the Binance white paper, you know that they also have the ability to burn coins and to mint. So it's a little bit more complicated, but let's just simplify it for now and say there's 187 million in total supply. You know that if there's more users on Binance tomorrow than there were today, this coin would increase in value. In other words, you can derive a business metric, a KPI that will invariably predict the price of this coin. It is now distilled to basic mathematics. Ethereum is not. I'm sure that you can create a more abstracted formula for Ethereum, but I'm talking simple, layman's, simple math. More users, fixed supply of BNB, obviously users. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just again trying to think. So the price of BNB is very simple, because all it's saying is, listen, does every user want to save on exchange fees? Obviously. I've paid tens of thousands of dollars in exchange fees on Binance and many other exchanges. And if there was a simple metric, a mindless metric where I could reduce that by holding BNB, I would. And so that is a way to say that every user on Binance has an incentive to hold BNB. Yes, definitely, Neville. I will be recording and posting this. Every user on Binance has an incentive to use BNB. I hold BNB. I mean, it's phenomenal. Why wouldn't you want to go from paying, let's say you did $1,000 in trading fees to 500? I mean, it's a life-changing amount, actually. And then there's a fixed amount. So you don't have to worry about, oh, can Binance attract investors? Can Binance attract coin investors? No, it has nothing to do with that. It's saying tomorrow, will there be more users than today? Yes, I believe that. I think everyone believes that about Binance. If that's the case, does every user that comes on Binance, whether they're trading $1 or $1 million a day, want to save on fees? Yes. In other words, there is a simple equation that can calculate what's going to be the value of the coin. I can't say that about many coins, and I've eat, slept, and dreamt about cryptocurrency for the better half of 3 years now, and I literally cannot say that about most coins. I was astonished at how amazing Binance Coin was actually put together. Now, do they have their flaws? Absolutely. But do they have their simple economics model that makes sense? Yes, they do. And that is what we wanted to emulate. So we knew that Binance had set a trend in 2017 by saying, okay, exchanges, yes, so the exchanges, by the way, I'm going to go through all of the questions about the GX token. Please list them there. However, I'm also going to do a considerable amount of contextual work like I'm doing now to make sure that everyone gets to the understanding. So if you want to keep asking your questions, I will make sure all of them get answered. And but you're going to have to stick around to get that answered. I would love to actually make sure that anyone that has multiple questions would actually be able to become a panelist, and we can chop it up to make sure that everything get answered. But definitely I'll answer that question. It's a great question. Show all the GX token and explain how you come up with the calculation of 0.0071. That's a really simple question. What I'm explaining now will lay the foundation for that to become almost a redundant question, but it's definitely something I'll address directly. We knew that as an exchange, as global exchange, as exchange number B, exchange number A now, Binance's token economics model is something we had to adopt, meaning there had to be a token native to that platform that reduced fees for its users. Okay, I think Binance invariably pushed everyone in that direction. But where we saw value that no one else was able to capture was in the brokerage market, in the ability for people to run their own business. And this was the eureka moment for us, which was, what if, and okay, so before I just kind of tie it together, on one side you had BNB, you had Binance carving the way, in my opinion, for how a good exchange should operate. And on the other side, you had the SaaS model that we were paying attention to, because we said we took a lot of inspiration from Google Play Store when we were building GX Nitrous. We obviously took a lot of inspiration from Binance in the way that their token economics was built. The last company that we took a lot of inspiration from, particularly for GX Broker, was Shopify. So if you don't know Shopify, Shopify is actually a Canadian e-commerce startup. Now it's definitely not a startup. Now it's a publicly traded, very large company, very successful. And Shopify is taking on Amazon, and I would say is the only meaningful threat to Amazon, because what they do is they don't go direct to consumer e-commerce. They let anybody and everybody start their own e-commerce business. And through a set of logistical products, they are able to let anybody in seconds, in maybe an hour, let's say, launch your own e-commerce business. You can sell cloths, you can sell watches, you can sell whatever you want. Shopify takes care of everything. User management, tech, obviously software, obviously user experience, payments, logistics, delivery, everything, inventory management, everything is taken care of by Shopify through their incredible software. And you as a Shopify store owner are driving traffic to your store. That sounds very similar to GX Broker. That was hugely inspired because we're like, wow, Shopify is taking on Amazon. It's giving them a run for their money because they're tapping into this broad base of merchants. We want to tap into this broad base of brokers. But where we diverged from Shopify is in how they price. Because they are taking all this incredible software, over-delivered software, which literally has given some people the ability to make millions of dollars and most people thousands of dollars. And they're pricing it for $29 to $299 a month. Obviously, I'm telling you right now, the basic and normal Shopify won't do you anything. You're going to have to get the advanced Shopify, which is still very affordable. $300 a month to do your entire business without you having to worry about anything is a remarkably cheap upfront and overhead cost. So for $300 US a month, they're giving you all the software, all the logistics. Fabulous. Could we have done the same thing? Of course. Should we have done the same thing? Maybe. Maybe we could have taken our entire product, everything the same, and used the GX token only for fees and had no element of brokerage interaction with the GX token except saying, hey, if you want to be a broker, it's going to be $100 a month, $200 a month, just like any good SaaS company would have done it. We didn't. We not only feel like we're changing the cryptocurrency markets with GX Nitros, we not only feel like we're changing the financial markets with GX Broker, we genuinely feel that we are changing the entire way SaaS products are going to be priced. SaaS means software as a service, by the way, because the ability to incorporate the token into the cost of running your business is never been done before. That is really our innovation. We came to the market and said, okay, everyone that wants to be a GX broker, all you have to do is prove commitment to the protocol, to the network. And how do you prove commitment? Well, if you wanted to prove commitment to the Bitcoin network, you'd have to mine Bitcoin. And in return for mining Bitcoin and giving up kinetic energy and processing the SHA-256 algorithm, you get tiny pieces of Bitcoin. Before it used to be big pieces of Bitcoin, but even today it's pieces of Bitcoin as a reward because you're investing that money continuously. In Ethereum, or the protocol Ethereum wants to move toward, is called staking. And some coins like Dash and these other coins have already taken to this model, which essentially says, hey, instead of burning electricity and continuously solving redundant mathematical problems, why not stake your coins? Take a piece of Dash, take a collection of Dash, and put it in a contract where every person can validate that this is owned by your private key, your public key, sorry, and that because you've invested and committed to this network, you now get the rights of a miner in Bitcoin. That was the initial idea behind staking, and Ethereum is trying to move from a proof of work to a proof of stake protocol, and has been trying to move for a very long time. It's obviously a very big process for them to do that. But for us, we're like, whoa, what if there's no mining element per se of the GX token because all the coins are pre-mined, but the ability to run your brokerage is pegged to your commitment in the network. In other words, you stake your coins, you're a broker. You don't stake your coins, you're not a broker. This revelation, let's call it, is the entire token economics model behind Global Exchange, how it came about and where it is today. We said, instead of charging a fixed amount of dollars per month for the product, that is how it should be charged, that's how all the other companies are charging it, we can say that, listen, if you want to be a broker, prove your commitment by acquiring a certain amount of tokens and staking it in a smart contract. Until December 31st, 2019 to 11:59 p.m., the amount of coins you had to stake were 450 coins. 450 GXT in the staking contract would unlock your brokerage application. After January 1st, it's going to be 1,000, and that's it. That is the entirety of the GX token. Everyone can sign up as a user. When they sign up as a user, they unlock all the apps. They can use Global Exchange until their heart's content without ever buying or even conceiving of buying the GX token. They would acquire 1,000 tokens after January 1st, 450 until then, 1,000 tokens, and put it in the staking contract in their Nitrous account. And then they would unlock the suite of brokerage management apps that allow them to perpetuate their business, starting with their affiliate code, which is available right here, their entire affiliate code. Everything from that to the CRM, to the management tools, the ability to set your own fees, commissions, obviously advanced commission structures, unlimited amount of things are unlocked on the brokerage side when you stake your coins. So now you understand how we got here. This allows us to not charge a subscription, not give the brokers any monthly overhead, align our interests with the brokers, with the customers. And the biggest thing, in my opinion, is actually allow the brokers to grow a business they can sell. And that even additional element of value creation is probably not well understood, but I think I'm going to cover it today. As long as you got to how we got here today, I'm going to tell you right now, the GX broker product is over-delivered at 500 tokens, it's over-delivered at 1,000 tokens. I've met with top SaaS executives. I'm in the land of the SaaS right now. India's been famous for building the incredible CRM SaaS products. And everyone is saying, why don't you charge monthly? You could be making a fortune charging monthly. I absolutely could be. I want to change the way SaaS is done. I want to change the way the pricing metrics are done for these software as a service companies, and driving it with this more aligned, inclusive model that the blockchain and tokens enable is what one pillar of our vision. So now let's go into the pure math. It's really, really simple. And for this, I will open up a Google Sheets, so we can do it from concrete mathematics on how the token is actually gaining its value and what our process was in establishing that value. Now that you have an understanding of what drives the value to the token, and I'm gonna come back to a little bit more in terms of the visceral value creation. All right, so this is simple Google Sheets, Google GX token drawings, I'm gonna call it. Beautiful. So there is the GXT. Okay. Yep, good. GX Nitrous. Nitrous is not spelling correct. That's funny. And GX Nitrous has unlimited customers. Let me write that again. Unlimited customers. There is no limitation. There's no restriction. There's nothing, literally no rules on customers. There's unlimited customers for GX Nitrous. So hopefully we can obtain the heights of getting those customers. That would be our goal, obviously. Let me just do this two-sided arrow here. Fabulous. Okay, so now in order to attract these customers, or in order to obtain these customers, we are inserting this character. That's never been done before. GX brokers. So these people sit in between us and our customers, or our potential customers, if I was to be even more accurate, right there. So now there's a new party in town, this GX broker character. Beautiful. And he is really important. But the thing with the GX broker is that there's not unlimited GX brokers. Why? Because we're not a SaaS product that can just keep collecting fees or keep collecting revenue from unlimited amounts of brokers. In other words, Shopify has like millions of merchants. They can have hundreds of millions of merchants. Doesn't matter. It's actually, that's their business. They want to do that. They want to drive that revenue. That's a considerable amount of reoccurring revenue for them. For us, that's not the case. For us, there's a fixed amount of brokers. So I'm gonna write that here, fixed brokers, fixed amount to be specific. Why is there a fixed amount of brokers? Well, we have pegged the ability to be a broker to owning and staking coins. So then that bodes the very important question, which is how many? Okay, well, let's rock and roll on the math then. GX token. Well, if we go to Etherscan, which is the place where you can audit every single smart contract on the Ethereum network, and you can look at every single token that's ever been made built on Ethereum, and you can see their entire mechanics. If we go to Etherscan and type in global exchange GXT right here, you can see that there are 350 million tokens total supply. Total supply doesn't mean circulating supply, means total supply. There's 350 million in validation, issued already. It's already pre-mined, and there is never going to be more than that. It's impossible to be more. You can read total supply directly. This is in Solidity. This is in the smart contract itself. 350 million. Fabulous. So that we can put here, GX tokens equal 350 million coins. Correct. Next point in our math is how many tokens does it require to be a broker? Well, until tomorrow, it's going to be 450, but after tomorrow, and we've only signed up a very small fraction of the amount of brokers we're going to sign up, it's going to be 1,000 coins. So GXT per broker is 1,000 GXT. And now you might get where the drift is going, because this will simply tell you how many brokers there'll ever be. So total number of brokers equals total GX tokens supply divided by GXT per brokerage. That is the equation. This is the equation that runs global exchange, in all honesty. Well, what does that actually look like numerically? That looks like 350 million tokens in total supply divided by 1,000. And some of you who are better at math than I will already know that equals 350,000 total brokers. Let me repeat that. That is as simple as it gets. Unfortunately, we cannot fabricate or not talk about this equation. It is simply the most important equation in our company, and that right there deserves a highlight. Oh, didn't highlight that. I wonder how you do that here. Text color, highlight. We'll hide that green. In other words, the token value is directly linked to the amount of brokers the company will acquire. Let me repeat that. The token value is directly linked to the number of brokers the company will acquire, because there is a cap on the amount of brokers that will ever exist. Okay, I hope everyone understands that. I'm not going to talk about why that's the greatest idea in the world yet. I'll save that until later. Now let's look at how the company went about issuing these coins, because that's the important thing that will kind of tie this together for you. So here we go. So this is the rule of thumb here, right? Let's just put this in the center. Beautiful. Oh God, this arrow didn't get copied. That's so frustrating. Okay, and then I will move this right below it. Beautiful. Now, right below this, and I'm going to do command. Perfect. So, sorry, just basically, I have like OCD when it comes to this stuff. I apologize for that. Perfect. So right below this, you are muted. Can you guys hear me? It just told me, it gave me a notification that I'm muted. I hope that's not the case. Hello? Okay, good. So yeah, if you guys can't hear me, let me know. So below this, I'm going to explain how the company went about issuing, pricing, and now moderating the distribution of these tokens. You can always now imagine, now that you know this, that tokens in global exchange is nothing but a function on the amount of brokers that exist. I don't even look at them as tokens. I just look at them as parts of brokerages. One token is 1/1000th of a brokerage. 100 tokens is 1/100th of a brokerage. That's how I look at it. Now, of course, people look at them as tokens because they are tokens as well. Now, let's look at the math here. The company, and this is well documented because we made lots of videos on it, the company went out and said that the company is going to issue tokens in 3 different phases. Let me repeat that. The company went out and said that it is going to issue tokens in 3 different phases. In all my videos that are still on YouTube, early days, you'll see that I talk about this. Phase 1. Because remember, at the beginning of the token issuance, we had the full 300 million. The company had pre-mined all 350 million coins. Now we need to get this into the market. Only once it gets into the market can it build a secondary market value. How did we do that? Well, first we need to do a primary market sale. We need to give it into the market. Well, that's very simple. We set throughout 2019 3 phases in which people can buy the token directly from us. Phase 1 extended from let's say Jan 1st, and trust me, no one was buying any tokens Jan 1st because no one knew about us, all the way to April 15th, 2019. And I think really some people started buying them like April-ish. So there's some people that got it. This time you could have bought 1 GXT for 0.0006 ETH. If my math is, if I recall, let me just make sure that correct number, ETH to USD. Just thinking if there's one extra zero or not. Beautiful, this is correct. So the company said, because the company has all the coins, let me make that very clear. We had all the coins as all pre-mined token contracts do. The company said, in phase 1, you are buying coins between this date and this date, you could have got 1 GXT for 0.0006 Ethereum. Meaning from day 1, we had pegged the primary issuance price to Ethereum. So that's very simple because that basically says that, okay, I'm buying 1 coin for, and if you want to look at, you can look historically on what that price was. It was approximately, remember it was changing day to day because Ethereum was just jumping around. It was approximately 10 US cents. Now it wasn't, sometimes it was lower, sometimes it was higher, just jumping all around because the price of Ethereum was jumping around, but our price was fixed at 0.0006 ETH. Let me highlight that. But that approximated to be, oh, can't see that properly, can you? Beautiful. That approximated to be 10 US cents. Obviously, changing on a daily basis due to the price of Ethereum's fluctuation. Great. So some people bought in at that price. And you know what bracket they bought in at? You know what chunk they bought in at? $500, just like they're buying in today, just because that's what we promoted to be the minimum threshold into this. Yes, I know. And there weren't many people that bought in it. I will give you this. Not many people bought in at this because it was so new. Like I obviously had a reasonable amount of traction. I'm just answering June's question, which is, I wish I'd bought back then. Yeah, I mean, now it looks like a no-brainer, but I mean, I had a reasonable amount of credibility and traction, so some people bought in, but not many. I would be so shocked if that number was over 100, to be honest, because it was just so new. The platform wasn't out yet. It was just a vision at the time, right? So, but let's be clear here, and let's say that AVG volume, let's say purchase volume was still $500 US. $500 US. which means that the average person in phase one, if again, I'm simplifying the math because it's not really 10 cents, it's 0.0006 ETH. You can go check that. But just by math, for math simplicity's sake, the average person was getting, think about it, 500 divided by 0.010 equals 5,000 GXT. So all those people that bought in phase one were getting approximately 5,000 tokens. Now, most people I actually think got like 3,500, 3,600 because the price of Ethereum by the time they got in was started to really move, but that is the number. That is what they got in. This is what phase one issued. I think we sold some very small and embarrassing amount of coins, to be honest, in this phase. Then we went into phase two and we were clear that there was always going to be a phase two and a phase three. We made that jump. We made that clear in the jump. So you had the opportunity to buy in phase one if you already knew about it. If you didn't buy it, you should be kicking yourself, because why wouldn't you buy it if you're already going to buy it later? If you knew that it was going to be, it was just to be used to run your brokerage as a no-brainer. It's like essentially Shopify coming and saying, hey guys, like lifetime membership at Shopify is like $10,000. Would you like to buy it for $1,000? And you always had the intention of running a Shopify store, and for some reason you're like, no, I'll just wait until it's $10,000. So phase two extended from April 16th, 2019 to August 1st. Or to be more specific, July 31st. And in phase two, 1 GXT, because the company had all the GXT minus the ones that we sold in phase one, is now selling to the primary market, meaning the first person who's going to buy it, that's not the company, for 0.0018 Ethereum. Do you guys know the relationship between 0.0018 and 0.006? Yes, it's 3x, meaning we are now charging 3 times more for the same exact coin in phase two. Okay, cool. That's what we did. And guess what the average buy-in price, the average purchase volume was? $500. We never changed that. We always just kept that consistent because we felt that would simplify people's decision-making process, and they would actually know that, hey, around this much would essentially be how much it would become to be a broker. So again, assuming the price of Ethereum is not volatile, which it is, so I'm making an assumption that's clearly not accurate, but just for simplicity's sake, if this is 3 times the price in ETH, it should be 3 times the price in dollars. So approximately how much is that? 30 cents. So obviously not. It's a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on the day. And still the $500 remains the same. And if it's $500 now, instead of divided by 10 cents by 30 cents, the exact number behooves me. I mean, escapes me at this point. So I'm just going to make it 5,000 divided by 3. This is embarrassing. Sorry, guys, kind of early here. Close. 5,000
playing from Shorupan's iPad
divided by 3, 16,666. So 1,666 tokens. All right, so let's make that clear. In phase two, when by far, in phase two, much more people bought than phase one. I mean, phase two is when the majority of kind of the early influencers, adopters, and people that kind of got a whiff of what we're doing. We did our first major kickoff event in Toronto, in Montreal, in Jakarta during phase two. So people got the jive, like, okay, wow, this is going to happen. And it got closer to product release. The back office, or a primary version of the back, oh man, you guys should go watch those early tutorial videos, see how the GX broker back office was back then. It was a disgrace. But that's how excited we were to launch it. But people started to get tried to get the riff here, and they started to buy in. So much more people bought in at this price, phase two price, and they got approximately 1,666 tokens for their $500. Lovely. Then we go into phase three, which everyone knew was going to happen. As we said it all the way in phase one. And phase three was August 1st, 2019 to December 31st, 2019. Oh, wait, that's tomorrow. And what do we say here? That the company is going to sell 1 GXT, because remember, the company still has all the coins minus what was sold in phase two and phase three. All the coins for in 1 GXT would now equal 0.0054 Ethereum. And What does that approximate if the value of Ethereum had stayed stagnant? 3 times that, about 90 cents. Let me give you a breaking news. The price of Ethereum didn't stay stagnant. It dropped, which means we actually got way less per token in phase 3 than we suspected. But anyway, we stuck with our Ethereum pricing model. Like, I'm just going to suspect it here and say it's not 3 times the amount. It really isn't. But let's just say it's 90 cents. Average purchase volume stayed $500. So now it's $500 minus divided by 90 cents. And for simplicity's sake, 5,000 divided by 0.90 equals, oh, forgive me, 1666 divided by 3. Should be 555 coins. Now, if you, for $500, now if you've been buying GXT from us recently, you know that's not the case. You're getting way 500 coins for way less than $500 because the price of Ethereum has really taken nosedive. But this is how we sold the coins. This is very clear. There's no room for mistaking how we've done this. The company started with 350 million coins on January 1st and has sold in its primary market offering coins at these prices and is currently at December 31st. And it is selling it for 0.0054. What's the price of 0.0054? Let's be exactly technical. 0.0054, 71 cents. Wow. That explains how the price, if you go to GX Nitrous today and you click Vault and it doesn't log you out. Yes, it didn't log me out. And you click Buy Crypto and you click GXT and you click 1 GXT and go to buy. Oh, 0.71 cents. Would you know that? Because it's not really 71 cents, it's 0.0054 Ethereum, and tomorrow that could be 73 cents, and tomorrow it could also be 69 cents. But that's because you're buying, when you're buying on GX Nitrous, you are buying coins from the company. That is a primary market offering, meaning primary market, meaning first, primary, uno. You are the first person to take these coins from the company. Anytime you sell these coins, that is now a secondary market offering, secondary market operation, meaning you bought them from the company and you're now selling them again. Secondary market. Now, for those of you guys that have understanding of economics, where does the real price get defined? In the secondary market, not in the primary market. The primary market, the company arbitrarily sets prices. You can call it arbitrary, you can call it calculated. If you go ask Goldman Sachs, how did they price Uber's public offering? They will give you, the full quantitative analysis, fundamentals, technicals. Oh, look at the secular trends, and ask them how well that went. Didn't mean anything, because the secondary market, the guy who buys it from the underwriter in the equity markets, or the guy that buys it from the company conducting the coin offering in the token markets, actually defines the price by what he's willing to resell the coin at. Let me repeat that, because that understanding changes your entire outlook on cryptocurrency. It is irrelevant, completely irrelevant, what the company sells these coins for. That number could have been pulled out of a hat, or it could have had the most grandiose calculations behind it. It doesn't mean diddly. All that matters is what the first guy is willing to resell it for. That is how a market is created. That is how exchange prices are developed. That is how any crypto prices are developed. This is the primary market issuance. This is what we were willing to sell it at. We were not willing to sell it for any more and not willing to sell it for any less. And we had a strategy. We had what we believed is a very foolproof mathematical formula. Does it matter? Nope. Because all that matters is, hey, we own the platform. If you want to use the product, GX Broker, you need a certain amount of coins. And this is who's selling the coins right now, company. If you don't think that's a fair price, you can always go buy it on the secondary market. But in order for you to buy it on the secondary market, you need to have market liquidity, which goes into my next entire segment of how the GX token is priced, which is the secondary market. This is all primary market operations. Company to first buyer. When you go on GX Nitrous today, you're buying it from the company. Fabulous. I hope everyone understands it until this point. Now is the fun part. Now is, well, Shorupan, okay, well, what happens when the company finishes selling all of its coins? Because there's only 350 million. Clearly, you're selling at least 500,000 a day per person. What happens when you finish selling the coins? Where can you buy the coins at that point? The same place you can buy them today from someone else. Now you can start to realize that, okay, well, as soon as global exchange started to distribute these coins in this fashion to the primary market audience, they are now building and have built a competitor to selling coins, their own coin. How hilarious is that? Basically now, when a new customer, new broker, new whoever comes to the table and says, hey, I like this global exchange thing, think it's pretty cool. I want to become a broker. Well, Shorupan says that the contract requires me to have 450, if not 1,000 coins after January 1st. Well, I can buy them from the company, and Shorupan's telling me what price I'm going to have to get it at, or what if I can buy them from someone else? Seems like there's a bunch of people who bought in phase 1 and 2, and look at the number of coins they got. Bare minimum 1,600, but some lucky phase 1 guys got 5,000. You know what that means? They have 4,000 more coins than they need. Why don't I go and buy it from them? And you are more than welcome to do that. Those could be uplines selling to their downlines. Those could be secondary markets. Go bananas. It doesn't really matter how you get your 1,000 GXT. It just matters that you stake it and you unlock your brokerage. We made that very clear. It's built into the smart contract. There's no way around it. Doesn't matter if we hate you. Can't do anything about that. But this is where things get interesting. What drives secondary market behavior? Well, I started to go over that when I was talking about Binance Coin, or when I was talking about any of these coins. All of these prices, 7,271, 132, these are secondary market prices, not primary market prices. These coins are long sold. If you go to Bloomberg today and you type in Uber or McDonald's or whatever, whatever, actually Yahoo Finance is a little bit more appropriate for just pulling up quick stock prices. So you go to Yahoo Finance today and said, okay, well, let's see what Apple's trading at. Apple, one of the most traded stocks in the world. Oh, $290 a share. Does that mean you're buying it from Apple? No, that's a long gone primary market offering, which is now just being sold Tom to Joe to Bob to Lisa to Sally to Raj to whoever. Is the secondary market has authorized that price by collectivizing the order book. And so what drives secondary market sales? Okay, in a normal currency, i.e. Bitcoin, the only reason someone wants to sell Bitcoin is if they think they're done making money with it. Please tell me I'm wrong with that. I would not sell Bitcoin if I'm thinking it's going up literally 1 minute after I sell it. Obviously not, because the reason I bought it is only so that it would go up. So the reason people sell assets, commodities like Bitcoin, and most of these coins, with the exception of Binance, I will come back to that, is because they think, oh, I've made as much money or I've taken as much loss as I'm willing to take. I'm gonna sell it. And the price at which the seller is willing to sell and the buyer is saying, no, there's more money to be made, that's the market price. That's 7,271. Obviously for Bitcoin USD, for Bitcoin USD, that happens thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of times a day, literally. But for Binance, it's a little different. And this is why I was so enthralled with it. Sorry, that's Bitcoin Cash. Binance. Because Binance, in theory, a buyer is buying into BNB, and he couldn't care less about what he sells it for. All he cares about is reducing fees. So let me give you an example. I buy BNB. I buy 100 BNB for $130, $140. That allows me to save $1,000 in trading fees. Do I care what I sell the BNB to back to the platform or back to whoever it is for? Nope. That was never my objective to begin with. And that is a utility-driven coin that essentially, let me be more clear. That is a coin that has its value, the buying pressure, based in something other than the resale value of the coin. Let me repeat that. You are not buying BNB because you want to make money. And now at this point, some people definitely are speculating on the price of BNB itself. But what are they speculating on? Or what is the normal BNB buyer doing? He's saying, well, I need to save fees. I need to hoard BNB. I don't care what I buy it for. I don't care what I sell it for, to be honest. And even if now you're a speculator, because obviously BNB has become such a big trading pair, what are you calculating? You're essentially calculating how many people want to do that. You're not calculating how many people will sell it to me for higher price, lower price. No. You're calculating how many people in the future will want to buy it and sell it irrespective of price due to the fact that the value is created elsewhere. And you're now no longer speculating on the price of BNB, you're speculating the amount of users Binance will be able to attract. That is why I love that coin, because it's simple. And we took this to the next level if you actually now start to take into consideration how this goes down. All right. So let's go right into, back into the little drawing here. Now, when you want to buy now and forevermore, this is Sally, okay? Sally comes to Global Exchange. Let me draw a nice, okay, I was gonna draw a happy face on Sally, but let me not, because I don't have the drawing utensils. So Sally comes to Global Exchange, okay? Sally's like, oh, this is so cool, cryptocurrency, I'm interested. Oh, Global Exchange seems like an interesting platform. Oh, I'm a user, I use the platform enough, and it looks like there's some program here that allows me to actually earn off of bringing people. Sounds like a cool idea, let me do that. How do I do that? So she Googles how to become a GX broker, or she asks someone, or the person that got her involved. Anywho, she finds out, oh, I need to get this 1,000 GXT. All right, so let me go and see how much I could buy it for, where I could buy it. So Sally goes into her office and says, okay, I can still buy it from the company. Company hasn't sold out all its coins yet. I could buy it directly from here, and it seems like a company is selling it for 71 cents. Okay, that's cool. I could buy it for that. It's not a big deal, but let me see if I could get it cheaper somewhere else. And so Sally now has options. Sally, like all of you have options, Sally has options. First, Sally's option is buy GX token from GX. This is only an option until Global Exchange runs out of tokens. It is running out on a daily basis. It's going to hit its amount. Started with 350 million. Now it has a lot less than 350 million. This is only an option until GX sells out the primary option. But until that happens, whether that happens tomorrow or happens 1 year from now or happens 20 years from now, and I actually think it'll happen in like the next couple of months, simply because of the rate that we're growing at. Okay, well, until that happens, you can buy it from Global Exchange, no question about that. Okay, that's one option, but maybe she doesn't like Global Exchange. Maybe she doesn't like the logo, or she doesn't like something about it. She doesn't want to buy it from us, but she still wants to become a broker. Coolio. Now, she can buy it from, buy GX token from GX token direct from another GX token holder. So this is literally hey guys, can you still hear me? I just got a notification that I'm being signed out. Maybe someone else is trying to sign in for my account. Can you just give me a confirmation that we're still good? We're still live? Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, I think someone else is trying to log into my account to host the other webinar. I'm just sending a message out in the community group saying, don't do that. Okay, perfect. So we're still good. We're still here. We're still cracking. Thank you guys again for rolling with me for so long. I know I'm in some cases extrapolating on things that some of you might already be aware of, but I'm doing this for the audience here and in the future has no idea how this works. I think it's so important. I think it's such a shame that so many companies don't explain this because it's so crucial. I appreciate your patience and all of that. Okay. She can buy it direct from us. She can buy GX token from another GX token holder. You know what that means? That means literally Sally calls up her friend or finds someone on Facebook who looks like, or does, hey, forget about all of this, goes into Facebook and says, is anyone selling GXT? And Sam responds, okay, yeah. Cool, sorry, just letting them know they can do that. Okay, Sam responds, yeah, I'm willing to sell you some GXT. I bought in phase 1, I have excess tokens. I'll sell it for this much. Okay, cool. So then Sam literally takes her Ethereum and transfers her GXT. That's just a secondary market sell. Whatever price they agree on. Let's say Sam bought in phase 1. So Sam bought 5,000 tokens for $500. He realizes he only needs 1,000. So he has 4,000 to sell. He says, I'll sell you 1,000 tokens for $300, for $100. That becomes the price for that transaction. Okay, that's buying directly from someone else. That's like your Kijiji, Craigslist type of token sale. And the last option, which is by far the most popular option and will be the most popular option moving forward, is going to be buying it from an exchange. Buying GX token from an exchange. This will obviously be around forever. This will also be around forever. Let me just paint this some other color right now. Yeah, beautiful. So stretch that out. So we got some more working room there. Okay, how does this work? How does an exchange work? Please watch my primary market videos to understand that. But long story short, Sam, instead of waiting for Sally, says, I'm gonna walk over to the exchange and just put my tokens for sale. Put them for sale, put them for auction, just like you would sell some used video game console on Craigslist, $400, $300, $100, whatever Sam feels like is the pick of the draw. Except there's one difference. When Sam is doing a deal directly with Sally, which is like a private deal for like a video game console, they are the only two people that come to price realization. Sally says, I'll buy the Xbox off you for $100. Sam says, well, it's worth $200. And then they negotiate and come to it. There's no there's reference is irrelevant because it's a bilateral deal, not a multilateral deal. But when it comes to an exchange, exchanges are interesting because they give you the price. They recommend prices. And this is where I'm going to show you how an exchange actually works. This is Crex. This is where we're listed. Before I show you our coin, because I think I'm going to show you literally our coin and how it works. I'm just going to show you some random coin. Perfect. Some random coin, THX, no idea what this coin is. THX has, if you can see me, if you can see this, sell side, sell THX, and buy THX. These are literally humans that are putting in limit orders. Hey, I'm willing to sell this much at this price. And he comes and says, I'm willing to buy this much at this price. Do you know why this exchange, this is not matching? Because these guys can't agree on a price. The cheapest seller and the most generous buyer cannot agree. That's why this order book is not matching. Now let's cross-reference that with Bitcoin. BTC, USD. Bitcoin, where can I find it? Just straight Bitcoin. Oh yeah, Bitcoin against, we'll just go Bitcoin USD. Now, if you cross-reference this with Bitcoin, Bitcoin on any exchange will have lots of orders that are meeting at approximately 7,217 right now. That is hence the price of Bitcoin, meaning this dude is looking to sell it for 7,400 and this guy's looking to buy it at 7,370 and bang, an order just filled and it'll see it over here. 7,370. It'll all be right here, trade history. Orders will fill. Obviously, going to bigger exchange. Crex is only doing like $1 million a day in trading volume. You go to Binance, this will be boom, 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 boom. You know what those are? Literally buyers, sellers coming to the market. I'm willing to sell for this price. He puts in a limit order. I'm willing to sell for that price. Buy, 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 buy. Wherever the order book meets is where the price the exchange will develop from. Well, what that also means is there's a bunch of orders that haven't met yet. All scroll through here. Look at for Bitcoin. This is not for some obscure coin. This is for Bitcoin. Look, someone is willing to sell 0.2 Bitcoin, sorry, 0.001 Bitcoin for 7,800. No one's willing to buy that right now. So they're hanging out. Look at these guys. Look at these cheap guys. They're willing to buy some Bitcoin for 7,040. No one's willing to sell it at. Those are limit and orders on the buy side and sell side. So now Sam, in our example, says, okay, I can't wait for Sally to come along, because how often does Sally come along? Let me just take this to the exchange and put my GX tokens, excess GX tokens for sale. And Sam will say, I'm going to sell one Bitcoin or one GXT for $8,000 and click sell. If I do that, my one order goes into this order book and waits until someone's willing to pay for that. Do I control when someone's going to be willing to pay for that? Nope. Could it happen tomorrow? Sure. Depends on where the price goes. Depends on the scarcity of that asset. And that's literally how an exchange prices itself. Now, let me tell you a little trick about exchanges that most people don't understand. You know this price that you see, the 7370? That is the worst representation of Bitcoin in the world, because it actually only shows you the least quantity meetup. It's like the cup. It's like a dating website that'll show you the two people that can barely get along long enough to have a date. It's like, what is the smallest quantity of Bitcoin that can be sold and bought for that particular price? It doesn't give you an idea about depth. A depth chart is these like green and these show you how much, because if you can only buy $1 worth of Bitcoin for this price, 7,370, does that mean anything to you? Yeah, you can technically buy it for $1. I mean, for 7,370, but doesn't mean anything because you can't get what you want. Depth shows you how much is for sale. And clearly there's not much for sale at this price. Clearly there's much more for sale as you head down. And that is why secondary market operations is interesting, because of depth, not because of price. Price doesn't mean shit. Excuse my language. Literally doesn't mean anything. Depth, how much can you actually buy at a specific price, is much more important than what is the price you can buy the minimum amount at. It's like saying, I'm going to go into a car dealership and the guy says, well, I have this Toyota Camry for sale. It's like 30 grand. And I have this Lamborghini for sale. It's actually 25 grand, but then you can only buy the carburetor. And you're like, well, I need the rest of the car. Like, oh, that's going to cost you X amount more. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. That is literally what happens on exchanges when you have price extrapolation. Okay, cool. Now, Sam goes and puts a price here. Then Sally, say Sam goes here and puts it for, like he says, 1,000 tokens for $100. Sally can come and say, oh my goodness, that's way cheaper than global exchange. Let me buy it all from him. Hopefully Sam has the 1,000 tokens to put on that market. That is how a secondary market is developed. And now, because Sam was willing to sell it for that much and Sally was willing to buy it for that much, the price of GX token is established on the secondary market. Beautiful, right? Fabulous. Now look at it. This is how our token, in my opinion, is positioned better than every other token in the world. And yes, I am biased, completely biased. But tell me if my math doesn't make sense. Okay, we all understood now, based on this drawing, that this is the market. Essentially, the market is going to be comprised. In other words, the liquidity providers is one of these three people. It's either the company, it's either a person who bought tokens early that's willing to sell it direct, which is going to be minimal, or a person that bought it earlier is going to be willing to sell excess on an exchange. You're only getting tokens. Remember, tokens don't appear out of thin air. They have to come from someone else because there's a fixed supply. So we know that the liquidity providers are one of these three people. Company, someone who's willing to sell direct, and someone who's willing to sell on the exchange. Okay, sounds simple enough. Let me just wrap that for you, just so you can get a clear understanding. Send to back. Perfect. These are your liquidity providers. Sally is representative of, follow along here, the buy side. The buy side. Order sent to back. We call her the buy side of the order book. Whether you want to literally look at her as your most recent broker that just signed up, because they're needing 1,000 tokens as well, or you're looking at her as numbers on a screen on this buy side order book, that's the same people. They just care about buying GXT for whatever reason. Maybe it's to speculate, maybe it's to become a broker, whatever. That's what they are. They are the buy side. They're the buy side demand. Sally is representative of the buy side demand. You can also change this word, liquidity providers, to sell side demand, right? So remember, global exchange is saying their price is fixed at 0.0054 Ethereum. And that's going to be the case until they sell out. Once they sell out, you can't even buy for them. Can't even buy for 0.005654 from them. They don't have any more coins. So this is 0.0054 for a certain period of time until they sell out their primary. These two haven't made up their mind yet. What do we know about them? This is important because in order to represent who they are, you need to understand what their game theory is. Okay, well, what we do know about them is they bought tokens, and they had to buy tokens from this guy. And that means they either bought tokens at this price, or this price. And I can tell you right now, 95% of people bought tokens at this price. All the recent traction, all the post-August 1st, all the post-GX Nitrous actually launching, all bought it for about 90 cents or 0.0054 ETH to be more specific. So what we do know about these characters, apart from a very small percentage who bought it at a smaller, cheaper price, is that what we do know about them is they bought in at 0.0054 ETH. They had to. And if they didn't, they bought in earlier, they're just negligible. There's such a small percentage of the actual amount of people that want to buy tokens that we can write that off. We're going to go into that number too if you really want to, but I'm telling you right now it's negligible. So they bought in at 0.0054. So tell me something, guys. If you bought in at 0.0054, I'm assuming you don't want to sell for less. Now, I could be wrong. You know, things could have changed since I've been in the markets, but I'm assuming you don't want to sell it for less than 0.0054. That doesn't mean that they're not willing to. Some people will take losses to get out of investments or to get out of positions. No, obviously that's the case. But the general consensus is if I could sell it for more than 0.0054 and I want to sell some, I would sell it for as much as humanly possible. I think we can all agree to that. We'll sell it for as much as humanly possible. Okay, great. So now is the very interesting part. And this is why I'm so happy that we're doing this call today, because it's almost like it worked out as perfectly in time, because I'm about to launch something based in all of this that nobody knows about that actually pulls this all together. But to have it with this call is just like unbelievable. So what have we done purposefully as Global Exchange? We've divided this up. We've made it so that these people buying from GX, Sally buying from GX isn't fully aware. I mean, even though that's not the case because we've made videos, but let's just say we haven't promoted the fact that she should go and buy it from someone else. So let me be more transparent with what this actually looks like right now. What it looks like right now is that there's two different liquidity providers because they don't talk to each other. That's the key. They're not talking to each other right now. There is this one. And we can just label this secondary market. Secondary market. Cool. And we will name this primary market. Differentiate. So now let's look at it really practically. Sally comes, and if she gets introduced to Global Exchange, the majority of the way that most people get introduced to Global Exchange, she will buy the coins directly from GX Nitrous. It's the simplest way to buy them. And what does that mean? That every day there are dozens of people like Sally who are buying coins directly from GX Nitrous. That means that there is an order book building on GX Nitrous, but it's only one-sided. It's one-sided order book. That's what people would see. They would say that Sally and everyone else is buying from GX Nitrous at 0.00. Sally, everyone buying from GX Nitrous is buying for 0.0054 ETH. That we've established. That's very clear. There's no refuting that. That's what every single one of you has bought in for, right? Okay, cool. The big question is, why don't we tell them to go also check here? Because there's no liquidity here. That's the first reason. Well, maybe Shorupan's just lying. Let's go find out, shall we? Go to CREX. I already told you back in October when we listed on CREX. Just go. I haven't touched CREX in a while. Click tokens and click GXT. Unfeathered, right? Just go into GXT. Oh my God. The person watching this is going to say, look at this. I can buy GX tokens for 0.0. This is Bitcoin, guys, buying GX tokens with Bitcoin, just to be clear, right? The Ethereum is like almost no liquidity. So here we're looking at Bitcoin. Okay, I can buy GXT for 0.000026 Bitcoin. What's the price on that? BTC to USD. 19 cents. This is incredible. I mean, I can buy it for 19 cents when if I was buying it from Global Exchange, I have to buy it for 71 cents. What a preposterous idea. Except that's not the case at all. Because if you knew how markets worked, you'd understand that you have to also look at what the volume is. So this guy that's willing to sell it to you for 19 cents, look how much he's selling. I hope everyone can see this. I'm going to zoom in. He's selling, is that 19? No, that's not even 19. That's 0.19 GX token. 0.19 GX token. In other words, he's just playing the market. He's just screwing around. So if you want to buy 0.19 from him, be my guest. See, that will take you absolutely nowhere if your objective is to become a broker. You know what I love about CREX? They sum the order book as well. This is the individual orders. This is the sum. So let's be clear. Sally wants to do what? Become a broker. She needs to buy 1,000. She's like, I'm not going to buy from GX. That's ridiculous. Let me go buy it from this exchange. Okay, great. So I'm going to go into my exchange. Let's see where she can actually get 1,000. See this order? 0.00028. She's only 65 total. That's the entirety. That's not just that. That's the entirety of the sell side order book. So let's go all the way down, shall we, until we get to 1,000. All of these, I hope you're noticing, 0.02, 0.05, that's a bot. That's someone just playing around. So all the way down, all the way down. We're continuing to go down until, can we get a sizable order, please? Okay, 555. There we go. Now we're talking. I can become a broker from CREX, save all the money I want to, and forget about buying it from Global Exchange. Outsmarted them, didn't I? Okay, well, what's the price here? Oh, that's some BTC price right there. Let me go pull that into the market right now. Remember, this itself is still only a 0.23 order, not even one GXT. It's 0.23. But let me see what the price is. This is the sum. That's the great thing about it. They'll give you the total sum. That's the total price of Bitcoin for 500 for each token. If you're going to buy 555, 81 cents. So what you're telling me is to even buy one brokerage before it's 1,000, I'm going to buy for 81 cents because there's no liquidity under this much. Oh, well, I would rather buy it for 71 cents because at least I could buy 1,000 for 71 cents, potentially less based on the price of Ethereum, and I can buy it in 2 seconds from Nitrous. Then, whoa, what is this order? 10,755. That's a wild order. This is, now we're talking, now people are selling. You can see that. Let's see how much this is. So this guy is selling 10,200 GXT. I wonder who that is. Let me just get the price on that. This guy's, let me see if I can buy all those coins. 81 cents. Snap, crackle, pop. So basically there's someone that's willing to sell you 10,200 coins for 81 cents. I wonder who that could be. Oh, let me give you a full hint. His name is Shorupan. That's my order. This is my order. This is where the company, this guy, is now starting to do the secondary market operations as well by putting its sell orders. In other words, the company is selling for more expensive on the secondary exchange than it is even selling on its own platform. Do you know why? Nobody in their right mind would sell you GXT for under 81 cents when they know people are willing to pay 0.0054 Ethereum. We've already proven that. It's like you're a seller and you're watching everyone else sell the same thing you're selling and you're going to sell it for 10 times cheaper. That's typically not how it works. That would only be because of information asymmetry. And even with the information asymmetry, people have smartened up. So after the $1 mark, 81 cent mark, yeah, there's lots of orders. And this is made by the early guys. This is, all of these are usually, and even there's some people that are only doing 0.01, which is ridiculous, but there's some decent sized orders at that point. It's all more expensive than you'd get it on GX Nitrous. And those are these people. They're people that bought for 0.0054. They're people that bought in phase 1, phase 2 that are saying, hey, if the price of the token gets to $1.20, $1.30, I'll sell it. I'll sell my excess coins. Okay, great. So that is the reality. There's a total. Guys, I am letting you know right now, there's 555 coins for 81 cents. Go be my guest. But it's more expensive. In other words, this is the key. People think, hey, on GX Nitrous, it's only the company selling tokens for whatever they feel like. No. It's whoever has the token is going to sell it, whether they sell it directly on GX Nitrous via us, or sell it on the exchange. They're going to sell it for the same price, if not more. Why? Because they know that the demand has already been set. This is the key. There's no speculation on demand downside. And this is where it all wraps together. Until today, until this call, I've never told or I've never emphatically came out and said, guys, go buy it on the exchange, because A, I knew there's no liquidity. But B, I just was working on something. Now, from Jan 2nd, I believe, when you go and try to buy GXT, click buy crypto, buy it here. I'm going to put a huge pop-up here that says, wait, hold your horses. Before you buy it from us, go check Crex, go check Trade Satoshi, and go check the other exchanges we're listing on right now. And so all the people that want to become brokers or token buyers are going to run to them and say, okay, perfect. Instead of buying it for 71 cents, let's see what I can get it for. You know what they're going to find out? That it's going to be more expensive on all of those platforms. And there is one case it will be cheaper, and I'm going to cover that as well. And let me explain to you why I'm so confident. I'm confident because our coin is not really a speculative vehicle. Nobody, not Sally 2.0, not people that bought in phase 1, 2, or 3, is buying our coin to resell it. They're literally buying the bare minimum to become a broker. And this is where I think the GX token is the most ingenious product, token economics product on planet Earth. Because what we're saying now is that all the buyers for GX token are not interested in the price. They're only interested in acquiring it. And what do they do when they acquire it? They lock it away. They put it in a contract where it's not even circulating. Every broker that we get is suffocating the supply of GXT. Do you know what happens to an asset when the supply gets suffocated? Yeah, it starts to increase dramatically in value because there's no volume. As you can see, there's no sell side volume. There'll never be that much sell side volume because people are not buying and selling GXT for the purpose of buying and selling GXT. They're only buying to become a broker. Now the question is, how much can they convince you to sell it for? Because they can't convince the company to change its mind. They can convince you. That means we have built a token economics model that has zero to do with the price of the token, has all to do with the fact that they don't want to lose. They need to acquire the token to unlock their commissions. Some of these people just do, I always give this example. If you understand this, you get it. Sally is doing price analysis based on income, not based on asset appreciation. In other words, Sally is thinking, if I become a GX broker with the unlimited commissions that I can make on unlimited clients, overriding unlimited amount of brokers for the lifetime of that client. Yes, well, I will, Fran, I will. Give out any bonus GX tokens. Paul, I will answer that question after Fran. Yes, if it's still down, I'll make sure that the bonus gets extended beyond today. Don't worry about that. Just message in your support chat. And so let me be clear now. Sally is sitting there, and the reason she wants to buy GXT is not because she's going to buy it at 71 cents, sell it for 81 cents, and perform some exchange arbitrage. It's because she thinks she can make $100 a month being a GX broker. She thinks she can make $200 a month, $2,000 a month, $20,000 a month. People have made that much. People have also made $100 a month. When you buy in at $500, does it really matter if you're making $100 a month when you have no cost? So this is what the logic now is for all of these people like Sally, who are literally only buying 1,000 tokens to become a broker. That's all. That's either it's going to be a company whale type of character who has tokens to preserve certain elements of the broker deal or whatever it is, or it's going to be a broker. Those are going to be the only two sellers of coins. So now a broker, how do they make a decision if they ever want to sell their coin? All right. So now let's say Sally has acquired her 1,000 tokens from GX Nitrous, and now Sally's on this side of the pond, right? Sally's over here. So Sally's like, all right, great. I'm now Sally the broker. Sally the broker, because Sally has successfully acquired her coin. Sally the broker, okay? Sally the broker. Because Sally has now been able to take 1,000 GXT. She is the proud owner of 1,000 GX tokens. And she bought them for 71 cents from GX Nitrous APX today's price, right? Let me change Sally. Can I change Sally's shape this late? I don't think I can. Oh shit, forgive my French. Okay, now you have Sally the broker. Let me make her a bigger circle. Okay, Sally the broker, her initial investment, because she bought from GX Nitrous, was 1,000 GXT multiplied by 0.071 USD equals 710 US dollars. Everyone is following. Beautiful. This is now Sally the broker. So Sally the broker could either be a good broker, could be a bad broker. Nobody really knows what type of broker she's going to be. Obviously, it's our job to ensure that Sally does as well as possible, but we can't control that. Obviously, under any circumstances, we can't control that. So I'm going to write out a couple of scenarios for Sally here. And you tell me if any of them are unrealistic or just beyond the pale of simple rationale here. There's one option. But after Sally becomes a broker, she's a couple months in, she's 5 months in, 6 months in, 4 months in, however you want to dice it. There's one option where Sally is now making no money. She's literally a horrible broker. Sally thought she would be a good broker. Sally is not. So 6 months in, Sally comes to the unfortunate realization she has never gotten a single free user or a custom broker or anything. She's just been, it's just not her day. It's not her business. It's not her MO, making no money. Okay, great. That's one example for Sally, right? That's fine. That's the case. That's the case with some people. And that's unfortunate. And obviously the company tries to make it as simple and easy as possible for people to make money, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, right? You're not going to make that much, or you might not, just because the way that your network, your customer base, or whatever it is, right? Okay, Sally's making no money. Let me just quickly put in here when this is. I'm going to say this is 3 months in. So 3 months after she buys the tokens, happily becomes a broker. 3 months later. Okay, so this is one. I'm going to list out a bunch of these scenarios just so you can understand the psychology of the seller here. Because remember, Sally was a buyer. She bought in, right? So there's one option where Sally is making new money. Then there's another option where Sally is making, and obviously it's not so cut and dry like this. I'm just simplifying it. Sally is making $100 a month. Making 100. And then there's one where Sally is earning, I'm just turning off my volume so you guys don't have to hear that notification. Perfect. Then there's another one where Sally is now earning $500 a month. Then there's another one where she's earning $2,000 a month. And then there's another one where she's earning 10,000. Can you make more than 10,000? Yes. I know some people in the GX brokerage that made $10,000 last week. But let's just say that's the most. You can obviously make more than that, but I'm just saying, you know, be conservative here. So that one just painted a different color. Great. So this is all different shades of Sally. Okay. If Sally is indeed, so now if you want me to even be more actuarial and be more you know, exact, working on the exactitudes here, I would go as far as to say that, well, the chances of an average broker being Sally in any of these cases, I'm making up numbers completely. I'm going to be super conservative, aggressive against my cause here. Let's just even say that 25% of people end up making no money because they just didn't estimate what type of business this is and whatever, right? I mean, that's a very high number. Literally, that hasn't happened yet because there's not the case that 24%. It means you haven't signed up one free customer. That's pretty ridiculous. But you know, let's just go with it. Let's roll with it. Then more or less, I would imagine that another 20% are probably making, again, as if you're able to make 100, you can easily make more. But anyway, that's fine. Just to put that in perspective, that's like 1.5 brokers. But I mean, it's just to even simplify, right? So now we're at 45%. Let's say 15% would make it 60%. No, that's a little too little. Let's say that the majority of people end up making around 500, or the plurality, forgive me, not the majority. And now you're at 70% right there. And then we'll say 20% end up making in this bracket. I'll make this number higher. So that will lead this to about 10%. So that's 50, 80, 90. So yeah, there's no way that 10% of people will make that much. So we'll say 15%, actually even more, 17.5%. And then only 2.5% of people end up making that large amount of money. Let's just break it down like that, right? Now, Sally bought the tokens. It's 3 months in and she's continued, possibly one of these options have happened to her. So now she's like, now recall, the company is finished selling its tokens, meaning it's gotten its first approximately, I said you have to get 350,000 brokers for us to cap. That's not the case. Practically, technically it's the case. Practically, I don't think we'll even get 250,000. In all honesty, I don't think we'll even get 200,000 brokers because the reason I don't think we'll ever get 200,000 brokers is because people are hoarding coins already. People are already realizing that, oh, I can just buy more than I need to resell it later because more brokers will sign up later, meaning that I can make a profit on the coin sale. Sure, that's not my recommendation, but that's what they're doing. And because of that, there's people locking away way more than 1,000 coins. And if you're a broker dealer, you're already locking away so many more coins. And we break that all down in our governance contract. But I'm just letting you guys know right now that we will not get to even 200,000 brokers. There's no chance. It'll be gone. The coins will be already stuck somewhere. But let's just say the company is finished selling its coins. So now the next Sally can't get it from Global Exchange. Let's call this person Lily or Sarah. I like that name. Let's, hey guys, can you still hear me? Because it says it's logged me out. I just want to make sure I'm still audible. Give me a shout if I'm still audible. Yes, oh thank God. Yeah, give me a heart attack. This is like one of the greatest meetings I've done, so I don't want to get cut out of that. Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. So now Sarah comes along and says, oh my goodness, she's like broker number 210,000 or something. She just gets introduced to it late. Sarah comes around and says, oh my goodness, I need to become a GX broker. I'm a customer. I have all these people in my network, blah, 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 blah. She's like, can I buy it from the company? No, I can't buy it from the company because I don't have any more coins. I have to buy it from the secondary market. The hell? God damn it. So fine, I'll buy it from the secondary market. Well, who's the secondary market when the company doesn't have any more tokens to sell? Sally, or people like Sally, because it has to come from somewhere, and Sally types bought all the coins because they all wanted to be brokers. So now Sally is the one that's going to sell to the secondary market. Okay, that's not so bad. Well, depending on which type of Sally she is, this might be a really expensive transaction. This is what I've explained since day one. If Sally's making no money and she bought in at $710, well, she knows that she can at least get $710 because she knows that no one else is willing to sell for cheaper because she's literally the most desperate type of person because she's making nothing. So anything that she can just offset and get money out is good for her. Is she willing to sell for less? Probably. Even if she's willing to sell for 10% less, she's not going to sell for that much more less than what the company was selling for because she knows people are willing to buy it. She knows how desperate the buy side is to become a broker. So then Sally's like, I'll sell it for $710. Okay, cool. Let me just completely articulate how that looks. Yeah, perfect. So Sally here sells for, oh, there we go. Sally sells for, in this Sally making no money, okay, I will sell for exactly what I bought it for, 710 for 1,000 coins, 71 cents. I think she'll sell for more because she'll just know that that's what the demand is. Irrespective of how much money she's making, she knows that other people can make money and that there's no one else willing to sell coins because the only percentage, it's only 25% of Sally's that actually make no money. So it's going to be basically a bidding war between those people. But let's just say that this number gets low. Let's just say that one of two things happen to the 25% no money Sally's. Let's either say, number one, it's not 25%, it's a lot less because everyone that joins Global Exchange ends up making some dollar, $2, whatever it is. Or the no money Sally's become really smart and they say, wait a minute, I don't actually need to make any money because I know that other people will need to make money and will want to make money and I'm holding the entry gate. I'm the toll road. They can't even do it without buying it from me. So why would I sell? Let me just chill out. Let's see how far Shorupan can take this thing. Let's go right back into where we were. I'm sharing my screen again. So I believe what I was now saying, forgive me because I think for those of you watching in the recording, I did get cut off and I'm gonna just try to hop right back into where we were. Is going through, and you should be able to see my screen right now. I'm on the Ether scan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So just you can see my screen, make sure everything is good. If you cannot, let me know. So what I was saying was Sally, who is not making any money, comes to the realization that, okay, I can sell it for at least the amount that I bought it for, if not more. I might be willing to take a loss, but how much of a loss am I willing to take when there's so many brokers that want to sign up? Then, so she's willing to sell for 71 cents. So there's a secondary market kind of minimum there. Now let's go into the rest of the people, because this is where things get a little bit more interesting. Remember, I said this number of 25% might not be 25% for two reasons. Number one, there might not be that many people that don't make any money. And number two, more likely, even the people that don't make any money are people that are not concerned to be brokers per se, are now just saying, hey, I can just hold out here. I can just not make any money, but not sell my coins and let the demand for brokers increase. Like every day that goes by, the demand for brokers increase, especially after the company sells out all its coins. It's going to keep increasing as we continue to perpetuate out the customer base and their distribution base. That's only going to increase, meaning they're only going to get more and more desperate. And they know that this type of person, the person who's making the least amount of money, is the one that that new Sarah will even have a chance of buying it from, because the rest of the people, as you're about to see, are going to get ridiculous. Let's talk about Sally making $100 a month. What is she looking at? Well, she's also keeping an eye on the market. Why wouldn't she? She has any prudent, investor or investor broker would. She's making $100 a month. And so she can see that Sally, who's making no money, is selling it for 71 cents. It's basically $710 full sale. So she's wondering, hey, that's not bad. Maybe I can sell it for a little bit more. But now think about it like this. Now, people, if the Sallys sell out that are making no money, Sarah's going to essentially have to convince people. Now, she's not doing this directly, like, hey, calling the person is found on a market, because by setting orders and by setting more aggressive buy orders, this is what you do. You incline people who may not have considered to sell because of the position, consider to sell because of how ridiculous and how high your offers are getting. So now Sarah's out of options with the Sally making no money. Could happen for a variety of reasons. Could just happen because there's way more Sarahs than Sallys making no money. Sarah now has to convince this Sally who's making $100 a month to sell her 1,000 GXT. Well, she's going to say, well, I'm not going to sell for $710 or 71 cents. That's how much I bought it for. And I'm already making $100 a month. For the last 3 months, I made $100. Now I've already made $300. And why would I sell it to you for $700? Because in 7 months, I would have just cleared that. This is the key, guys. This is, if you get this, this is like owning a rental property. It's not just like owning a house you're buying and flipping. It's like owning a rental property, like owning an Airbnb, like a hotel, because you're earning the income. Yes, now mind you, the income is based on you, but you're earning the income that only a few amount of people can build, because there's a big scarcity on the amount of brokers. And if I'm making $100 a month, I'm not going to sell the token. I'm not going to sell my bro. I'm not going to give up, because when you sell your tokens, you're giving up the ability to earn that income forevermore. So now, even if someone says, okay, Sally, I'll call this Sally 2. Okay, Sally 2, we'll call this Sally 1. Okay, Sally 2, I'm willing to sell you, I'm willing to buy your tokens for $1 a token. Straight up. And she's saying, well, that's $1,000. That's a 30% over 30% in return on my initial investment. But then she still has to do the calculus. In 10 months, she would have cleared that anyway. In 20 months, she would have doubled that. She's like, I'm not going to sell it to you for $1. I'm not interested. So now Sarah's going to have to say 110, 115, 120, 130, maybe $2, because now at $2, she's basically going to get a $2,000 payout. She only put in 710. Now it's going to take her 20 months to even break even on that if she's doing $100 a month. So she might be willing to do that. But just think about what that does to the price of the token. Now, after you're making, and this is only a person making $100 a month. If you're making $500, you are not selling this token. Someone would have to give you such a preposterous amount of money. You're not even looking at the price. And of course, if you're making more than 500, this just becomes a joke. So what is the company's perspective? Remember, Binance has a clear perspective. Binance is, we need to increase users. More users means more people want to save fees, meaning the price of the token will go up. Ours is more brokers making more money. We can't actually just go to unlimited brokers. So as long as the brokers that we have are just making more and more money, then think about it. The brokers that are coming in are like, oh my goodness, I need to get in, but I cannot get in because the people that are having their brokerage are not going to sell it to me for any reasonable price. And that's how the price of the token can go to $10, $20. Not because it's that great, because the amount of people willing to sell are minimal. Guys, basic market theory, supply and demand. Let me write it down here. Bitcoin, how does Bitcoin work? Bitcoin works in this simple fashion, as I explained. 21 million coins. That's never changing. 21 million coins. Total market cap, meaning total US dollars running into Bitcoin, divided by total number of coins equals price per coin. That's Bitcoin. So how does that look? Simply put, if the market cap for Bitcoin is $100 million, don't forget about that. Let's make it simpler. $21 million, total amount of money that wants to jump into Bitcoin. And there's how many coins? 21 million coins, as we already know that there is. Then what's the price per coin? Really simple, $1. $1. So when Bitcoin hit $1, that means there's $21 million. There's actually a little bit less than 21 million because the circulating supply Bitcoin gets released over a certain period of time until 2041. But you get my point. You get the gist nonetheless. Same thing. That's how you have to calculate the price of any coin. How much is going to be? Well, that matters how much money is coming in divided by how much is available, how much people are willing to sell. But with ours, it's a little bit different because in theory, if you follow the same formula, you'd have to say what? You'd have to say that, okay, well, there's 350 million GXT. So total market divided by total number of coins. So let's say there was only 300, let's make a simple number, $3.5 million that wanted to come into GXT divided by the 350 million coins. Well, that should be a penny, right? 3.5 million divided by 350 million should be a penny. But that's not the case. Because if $3.5 million worth of wanted to come into GXT, maybe you can look at that as a certain amount of brokers, a certain amount of demand. Remember, because it's all about the demand side. This 3.5 million, it's the difference between 3.5 million, 35 million, 350 million is demand side. And we know how we're creating demand. Better products, more brokers, more money. But the issue is there's not 350 million for sale because you have to do 350 million minus all the tokens that are staked. So if all the tokens are owned by people that are being staked, then how many is actually the supply? Because that means you'd have to essentially calculate for the people who are willing to unstake their coins, willing to give up their brokerage. Is that 25%? Is that 10%? Is that 5%? We don't know that number yet. We'll know as we scale. Let's just call it 20%. I don't think it's going to be that high. Let's just call it 20%. Well, what's 20% of 350 million?
Playing from Shorupan's iPad.
Oh, God. Times 0.2. Times 0.2. Is 70 million. So if 20%, 7 million, what am I saying there? 20% of 350 million, 70 million. Yeah, so that would be 70 million. So actually you'd have to rewrite this equation to say, well, okay, it's $3.5 million in demand, but only 70 million coins for sale. Well, that changes the number per coin, doesn't it? That now makes it 3.5 million divided by 70 million equals 5 cents. Now, if there is actually what I believe $350 million worth of demand or $1 billion worth of demand, now you can rank us against the coins, the best coins in the world. Whether you think we're number 8 or number 800, doesn't really matter. You start calculating simplistically. Okay, let's just take Ethereum Classic. 542 million. Let's see, all the way down to 350 million is what? Like VeChain. I remember buying VeChain. VeChain is 300 million. Let's say we can accumulate that type of market interest. That's very easy for us because it's just driving more broker desire. Is it hard to drive broker desire? You guys are in the field. You tell me. Is it hard to drive broker desire? Not at all. It's quite simple, especially considering the newer brokers are the ones that understand the value. Let me repeat that. The newer brokers are the ones that understand the value, because they're the ones that got to see other brokers succeed or fail and understand what the product looks like and then still choose to come in. I'm gonna give you a good analogy for that. Let's just say we got to 350 million. In theory, it should be $1 because there's 350 million coins, $350 million in market cap. But that's not the case because we're assuming there's only 70 million. There's probably a lot less because right now it's not 20% of people that want to sell their coins. I assure you, it's like 1%, 2%, but let's just say it's 20%. 350 million divided by 350 million divided by 70 million. $5. So if we get up to the market capitalization of VeChain or one of these other coins that are just essentially mid-market, we should have a price token valuation of $1 per coin, but we won't. We'll have it for $5. That's assuming that 70 million people want to sell, which they don't. They'll never want to sell because as long as they're making anything, they don't need to make a lot. We're not here promising that you're going to make a lot of money. Now, some people are. Granted, if you have that skill set, you will. If you understand how valuable this is and that it compounds on your effects, that every broker that you get will essentially incentivize you never to let go of your coins. Every customer that you get essentially will incentivize you never to let go of your coins because you're getting paid on future transactions. You'll know that 70 million people will never want to sell, meaning the amount of sell side for GXT will never increase. Right now, it has the highest sell side because the company's still selling coins. As soon as the company's done selling coins, nobody will sell coins, or the percentage of people that will are the people that bought and that are willing to take a loss. And even them, they would be smart enough to realize that as long as there are new brokers that want to come in, why would they do that? So now you're starting to get why this is such a powerful metric. This is all baked in the fact that it's simple token economics. And number two, this is the big one, the value of the token has nothing to do with the price of the token. Not many coins can say that. What's up? Yeah, cool, he's coming, that's fine. Yeah, so that is lethal. Imagine someone has to come up to you and convince you to sell your tokens to them because they're broker number 260,000. They have no options. They can't come straight to the company, have to buy it from someone else. Now the question is, they're going to ask you to sell your rental property that might not be making a lot of money, but it's still making something. And you know there's always a resale value. So why would you do it now? Unless you're really desperate. Fine, there's always going to be a percentile of people that are desperate. Those are the people that will sell. 5%, 1%, 10%, we don't know yet. But we know that right now it's very minimalistic. Add on to this all the additional things that we've put into staking the GX token, mining SEPcoin, which is another passive income stream. Becoming broker dealers, which I'll talk a lot more about in the new year, where you're launching your own exchange. The fact that you as a broker pay a fixed 1% on all your OTC trades and not subjugated to what your upline wants. Add on all of these simple propositions. I haven't even told the exciting ones that I haven't talked about yet. Just on the back of the fact that you need 1,000 tokens to become a broker and to stay a broker, you can understand where this thing is going. That's why I was never keen to talk about price, because this is just basic math. Prudential has 1 million brokers in the United States. Prudential Insurance has 1 million insurance brokers on continental US. We'll never have more than 200,000 worldwide. Impossible. Then the last analogy I'll give you to why this is not just a mathematical linear increase, it's a quadratic increase. Because Sally got in and bought coins from the company, right? Sarah has to buy coins from Sally, and Sarah's way more qualified to be a broker than Sally. Why do I say that? Because Sarah's been able to see what Sally and the rest of the brokers have done. Sarah knows what she's getting herself into. Obviously, all the early brokers are trying something new. The early adopters, maybe it's not for them. Clearly, if a new restaurant opens in Manhattan, in Toronto, in Los Angeles, it's brand new. You're the first 100 customers. You don't know if it's going to be good, but if you're customer number 7,000, you kind of know what you're getting into, and you're only going to go in there once you self-select it. Your level of commitment is much higher. In other words, just please understand this, and you will not be able to sleep. The quality of brokers will only ever increase without us even having to do anything, without us even having to go recruit better brokers, or without us even having to go and train better brokers, which we are doing. But it'll always increase because the people that are selling are the worst brokers. They're the brokers making no money. It doesn't mean they're bad. It just means that this wasn't for them. And the people that are now buying are the people that are self-selecting to buy based on their knowledge of the platform. Meaning that these numbers that I gave you are conservative at best, because it'll never stay at 25%. We'll always want to sell because the quality of brokers are going up, meaning that now more people will at least make 100, if not more. And this is the key, and I will end it with this. You will log into GX Nitrous if it hasn't already forced me to log out. You can buy tokens from here, right? Soon that won't be available once we sell out. But you know where else you can buy them this upcoming week? On GX Trade. By clicking here, I just hope it doesn't log me out. It might actually log me out, or this might just crash because we're just finished the testing process. I have to go and test 1 second. So remember what I said, you can buy the tokens from the platform so as long as the company has tokens. The company's running out real quick. Remember, the company's selling it for 71 cents and seems way too cheap in my opinion. It's an over-delivered product. I mean, I know that. If this loads, if it doesn't, I'm gonna have to clear the cache. Perfect. This is GX Trade. GX Trade is going to be the routing engine that allows you to place trades on any exchange without creating accounts. You know, the main part of our product, which we haven't even rolled out yet. Okay, great. The good thing about GX Trade is that we get to select the exchanges that we're listing. Our API integrates with about 170, but we're only going to list 5 at the beginning. Bitfinex, Kraken, Binance, OKEX, and CREX24. Why does an exchange that only trades $1 million in trading volume get listed with all these other ones that are doing $1 billion? Oh, yes, because they've listed GXT. So now you can click CREX24 and click GXT, and lo and behold that's GXT BTC, GXT ETH, pulling from CREX24. And you can buy GXT or sell it directly here. Now, you've opened up secondary market trading within GX Nitrous, meaning everyone that's selling on CREX or the secondary exchange knows that there's people coming to buy it for 0.0054, meaning they'll never sell it for, the lunatic that's selling 500 tokens for like 81 cents over like 1 million different orders, he's not even gonna do that because he just knows how much he's gonna sell. He knows the company's driving that volume. Imagine I opened, the reason I haven't talked about the secondary market, because I was putting the exchange on our platform first. So you don't have to leave the platform. I'm going to tell people, hey, go check CREX, because CREX is going to be way more expensive than us. And this is the last part. I've listed on 2 exchanges so far. If you look at CoinMarketCap, CREX24. Okay, this is the exchange. How much volume does CREX do? $2 million, $2.8 million. That's a pretty small sized exchange, but not bad. And then the other one is Trade Satoshi, where we basically do nothing, but let's just say how much volume we do. 14,000. Do you know why we do no volume on these? No, they don't do any volume themselves, so they're already small. But you know why we don't do any volume? Because we haven't told people that you can buy from there. Why haven't we told people? Because there's no liquidity. But now that we've put both platforms, we've bought the ability to buy directly from the company here, as well as the ability to buy GX token from an exchange, both on GX Nitrous. Now you will get to see the real secondary market operations. And the key part is they'll never, I assure you, mark my word, there'll never be liquidity on any of those exchanges. There'll never be liquidity. As soon as there's any liquidity, some broker will buy it up. That's it. You better hope that there's enough people that were willing to give up their entire brokerage. And let me ask you a different question. All the people that are staking right now, do you think they'll ever sell their 450? No, because as soon as they sell even one below their 450, they lose that 450. Now they got to do 1,000. It's not even worth it for them. Might as well just sell their account to someone else. This is a foolproof token economics model. I was saying a couple of things that, listen, there's a lot of things the company does bad. Lots. I mean, you know, we need to improve customer service. We need to improve funding time, withdrawal time. We need to improve a lot, and we're working. This technology asset in GX Nitrous, the distribution product in GX Broker, and the token economics model is foolproof. There's nothing like it. Nothing like this has ever been seen before. Like I said, we will change the way SaaSes are priced, because no longer will you pay monthly for anything. You will stake coins, albeit Netflix or GX Broker. And now you get to take into consideration, whoa, not only am I earning unlimited income, which is in your control, but I get to sell my tokens, which is like an appreciating asset. It's like a hotel. It's like an Airbnb. Just watch. The last thing I'll leave you guys off with is there's one last reason why I didn't do the merger until now. I could have done a long time ago. Is because we've gotten approval to list on one more key exchange. I cannot disclose what's the name of that exchange until we're done. But if you recall the 5 exchanges that I listed, it's one of those. And CREX, we've made this much noise doing about $1 million on an exchange that's $1 million in trades a day. Imagine when we open it up on the biggest exchanges, which I already have the go ahead for. But just think about this for 1 second. Remember, brokers are the real buy side demand. That's the only buy side demand. I've built this entire equation talking about our ability to get brokers. But what you haven't taken into consideration is there's another buy side demand. Brokers are the native buy side demand. This other buy side demand, which we have not calculated for at all, is speculators who are essentially betting on how many brokers there are going to be. So now you have people who are not interested in being brokers hoarding GX tokens once they figure this out, because they know that people will want to be GX brokers later, and they know that buy side demand will go up. And so they're now sucking liquidity out of the system. That's what will occur when we put the token on one of the major exchanges, because now you have all eyes on us. Guys, I don't think you understand. We've done this all quietly. We haven't told anyone about this. Nobody knows about the GX token. Nobody. When this video launches on YouTube tomorrow, that will already change that. Speculators. So now a whale could sit there and be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I can buy 1 million coins for 71 cents, and then I could sell that to 1,000 brokers. That seems interesting. I hope that did a decent job to clarify what the token economics is, how it works, how it's priced, what's our roadmap, all of that jazz. Again, all of this, simple math. 350 million, 1,000 per person. We'll never get to 350,000 brokers, even though that's the max supply. I will now open it up to anyone that has questions. I appreciate that. The best explanation ever. I appreciate it. I'm so sorry for the video cutting off. I feel so sorry for the people on the webinar. Oh my God, this is such a horrible logistics. I was just so committed to getting this done because I think it's so important. And there's so much more I can talk about. Guys, honestly, I haven't talked about Ceph, how the fact that you're mining Ceph and that you just sell to your customers, because I'm gonna actually talk about that 1 second, because I think it's important. Some people have been asking about it and people don't understand it clearly. What is Ceph coin? Well, if you've watched your back office, you know that by staking GXT, I'm staking 1,102. I mined a lot of Ceph coins simply because I was testing it a lot earlier. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. There's about 1 billion coins, so it's not as circulated supply as GXT. I'll release a token economics video just for Ceph. Ceph stands for Save Exchange Fees Coin. You cannot buy Ceph. You can only mine Ceph by being a person staking GXT. So you're already staking 1,000 GXT, 450 GXT to be a broker. You're already mining Ceph. What is good as Ceph? Right now, Ceph is no good for anyone. What it will be good for is exactly what BNB is good for. In other words, your customers who are paying fees on all of these trades, by holding Ceph, will get 50% off all fees. Let me repeat that. Your customers, not you, your customers will get 50% off all fees, or they will get a format of discounted fees. Or they're like, oh my God, I just paid like $70 in fees. Can I grab some Ceph so I can save my fees next time? Or I paid a couple $1,000s in fees, whether it's on GX Trade, GX Bets, the Vault. Where can I get Ceph? Well, I can only buy them from my broker. What? That's ridiculous. Fine. How much do you guys want to sell them for? All right, now you go put that on the exchange. That's just passive income, literally passive income, where you have a monopoly as a GX broker to sell it. That's another thing you get for staking GXT. Understand what we're doing here? We're making it so that it becomes very difficult to sell your GX tokens. You can of course sell them. I'll buy them. But all of this is going to take the efficiency of this market takes time. It takes me connecting the exchanges into GX Nitrous. It takes the publicity cycle to take its course. It takes the broker momentum to pick up. All of that jazz. This is Kerry, GX, I'm releasing, funny that you said that. I'll probably do another town hall just talking about legal because it's such a big question. But right now we're domesticated in Canada, so we're overseen by FinTrack, which is the money, essentially the monetary regulators in Canada, not to be mistaken with the securities commissions in Canada, which is the OSC or the Manitoba Securities Commissions or the British Columbia Securities Commissions. Those are securities dealers. We want nothing to do with them, and hopefully we'll never have to talk to them in our lives. But we are overseen by an institution called FinTrack. And in the United States, when we launch our local operation in the United States, we'll be overseen by an organization called FinCEN. And in the United Kingdom, we're overseen by an organization called the Financial Conduct Authority. And my goal right now is actually to kind of move headquarters a little bit so that our primary operation is out of Europe, because we're in the process of acquiring a couple of really advantageous licenses in Estonia and in other couple European jurisdictions, so that we'll be domiciled in Europe and then have subsidiaries in Canada, the United States, and the UK. But all of that will be part of a legal roadmap and a legal town hall that I'll do in the new year. Great question. But in all honesty, all of this stuff happens like this. You'd see the way that this evolves. The GX token, pure utility. Might be the most valuable utility of all time, though, because it's so ridiculously stupid simple to understand it. Nothing complicated about it. But of course, now that you have an understanding about how market economics works and how our strategy mapped out over the last couple of months and will map out over the next couple of months. Guys, just remember, right now you're cherishing GX. I know it might not feel like that because there's so many issues with it, but you're cherishing it. No one knows about it. It's literally your baby. As soon as I flip as soon as I put the dominoes on the crypto media, the financial media, that this exists, world's first brokerage network, world's first exchange operating system, token economics model that essentially can replace SaaS products, smart order routing system, no loss betting protocol, money. As soon as I release that to the rest of the world, this is just an inundation of attention. And what does attention drive? Well, depending on where your product is and based on where on the market sentiment is, it can drive buy-side demand. You know what it can drive? Sell-side demand, because the people that have the coins are people that need to keep them in order to be a broker. So this token is really protected against market fluctuations. Do you care what the market is doing? Oh, Bitcoin's up and down. I don't care. I'm making money being a broker. So something we're really proud of. I appreciate all of your time, patience, you're putting up with everything today. I hope it helped. Like I said, the first step to our major rollout token release party is actually this video. So congratulations for making history. If there are no other questions, I'll end the call and proceed to make sure that this gets on YouTube is immediately cut off the cuts and stuff like that, and put this on Facebook. Share this with as many people as you want. Share this with anyone who has a keen sense of markets or technology trends. Share this with people that may never end up being in anything in global exchange. Sub dealers, Paul. Yeah, I got your question. It's interesting. It's really interesting. I can't talk too much about sub dealers because it is interesting. I've thought about that. I will completely be honest with you. I've thought about people renting their GXT when they're not using it. Just kind of complicates a little bit of the token economics model. But what I will tell you is coming in effect, I was going to make a complete video about this, is virtual brokers. What a virtual broker is as soon as we go to 1,000 coins, we're going to make it so that 2 or more individual GX accounts can come together to create a virtual brokerage, essentially share a brokerage. Right now, people are already sharing brokerages. They're just doing it manually. They're logging into the same account, which is a horrible way of doing it. Whether you're a corporation, a non-for-profit, or you're just a bunch of family members who want to buy one brokerage, you can actually do that. Create 4 different accounts under each of your names like normal people. Everyone's a user first, and then create a virtual broker where you'll have one brokerage staking collectively 1,000 tokens and splitting the commissions, and we'll automate all of that. Why is that important? Again, when the tokens were $10, $10,000 for a brokerage might not be the most affordable thing for some people, but they can really kill it if they get in, particularly as we enter low currency markets, India, Pakistan, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, different parts of the Middle East, different parts of sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America. We want to make sure that getting in is still affordable. And maybe the only way of doing that is by coming together and creating a virtual broker, maybe 5, 6, 7 people. But just think about that, right? One day people might have to get 7 people together to do what you guys did, just simply because it was only like, what, $500. The product is over-delivered. I know telling you that the product is over-delivered doesn't mean anything because you got it for 500, so your value is 500. But as soon as you see what other people are willing to pay for it over the next year or so, then you'll understand. Just like at the beginning of this call when I said someone bought 5,000 GXT for $500, they're like, whoa, that's how people are gonna look at you. And again, this is not Bitcoin. You never had to say, nobody, not me, not Satoshi, not anybody knew that Bitcoin would do what it did. It's impossible to predict what the market demand was going to be because it was completely not based in anything, except just the demand for an alternative asset that could be transmitted worldwide. GXT is simple. How many brokers can you get? All right, well then look at the other financial assets. So this one, you'll kick yourself in the foot a lot for this one, for missing this one, because it's simple. It didn't require any complicated analysis. It didn't require any, understanding of very intense computing systems or anything like that. It's super simple. All right, guys, I'm going to stop ranting. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. You guys are amazing. Paul, sub-dealers, some version of that will happen, but right now, virtual brokers are the closest thing to that. And that to some degree is a sub-dealer, because essentially you can have 50-50, and then one person puts up all the money, the other person does all the work, that type of stuff. So it's going to be interesting as we roll that out this next week. Stay tuned, put up with the patient for us. I know some of the links are not working. I'm going to get to that right after this call is done. I apologize. Go tell everyone in the Facebook group what type of call they just missed. Please go tell everyone in the Facebook group what type of call they just missed. Thank you so much. Someone is asking for an answer, and I don't remember what you said. Yes, Carrie, I'll send you the whole shebang. Just message me so I can get a reminder. Thank you. Please, apologies for any future issues, and I'm sure you'll forgive me as this plan starts to roll out. Take care, guys.